make it today. So anyway, uh, first of all, I can't believe that we made it to the last week of class. Um, it seemed like the first part flew by, and then there were parts where we went online that I thought were crawling at a snail's pace. And then now it feels like it's full speed ahead and we're almost done. So I don't know if anybody else feels the same way or not.
Yes, and I can't wait to be done.
Especially for Alex and Michaela, who are almost done. Um, well, as you know, if you've had me in class before, I always like to kind of put a bow on things for the semester, and kind of at least do a debrief on what the most important things were you found from this class and the things that are probably going to stick in your mind the most after this class is over. So just kind of open this up for group discussion here for a little bit.
I liked learning about like the footprinting because I think that it's just something useful to be able to do even if you're not trying to like dig up a bunch of dirt on someone. It's just gathering basic information and can be used whether you're doing it for your job or just in general in life. So, I think it's practical knowledge to have.
Okay, cool. Almost kind of like, well, Google isn't the only tool, and uh, kind of investigative tools and skills you can use for more than just creeping on people, as you stated.
Yeah. I also liked lurking on my neighbor's Wi-Fi a little bit once I finally got that lab to work out, but it was kind of cool to use that tool and see everyone's stuff pop up and see what kind of security protocols they were using. And
Yeah, neat.
I really enjoyed the like Wi-Fi one that we just did as well. Like I thought that was really cool, and like it's interesting to see how if you had like an actual like dictionary with difficult passwords in it, how like almost easy it is to get into to like find the password of a network that you're looking into.
Yeah, I mean, when you start getting down to a programmatic attack, whether it's through, a dictionary or a list you built yourself, right? It's just a matter of waiting until the right combination is found, right? So as long as I guess you have all the time in the world, and it's not, and it's crackable encryption, right, or crackable key, then it's really just a matter of waiting it out to see if it can find the right key phrase.
I liked learning about like Wi-Fi networks and like the vulnerabilities that come with them and how to protect them. I kind of think it will be like helpful in the future, like just practical, like get your first house and set up a network and make sure that all your stuff is secure and what your vulnerabilities are. Found that to be really interesting.
Cool.
When we all did those presentations, like back what feels like forever ago, I thought it was interesting how easy it was to find like how to create those viruses and like how easy it is to like put it or get sent out to someone else, and that there's actual videos on the internet that tell you exactly how to do it. I just think that's crazy.
Eye-opening.
Yeah.
I really liked getting to be able to like familiarize myself with Kali Linux and seeing like how relatively easy it is to just set up a operating system that has pretty much all the tools you need. And it definitely taught me a lot of like vulnerabilities to look for even in the real world, like which ATM I should trust and like going to a gas station, like covering my pen card and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of things in this class that, as Michaela and others have mentioned, that can certainly be used just for almost general everyday use and awareness. But then also as you go into whether they're IT related jobs or not, to know what the risks are in an organization.
feel like overall this class has really improved like my troubleshooting ability too, and like and made me look deeper into things on a normal basis.
Cool. That's good. I stated that at the front of the class, right? I said
Yeah.
things are not going to work the way you want them to right out of the box, and you're gonna have to do some fiddling and some research and some troubleshooting to get it to work. So I'm glad to hear that you got that out. Michaela, I think you win the went through the most suffering award.
Ooh, yay. Sounds like a fun award.
I had this has been a few years ago. I had a student in, I think it was IT security and risk management at the time, and we had a Linux lab where I actually think the lab was installing OpenVAS, because I still used that lab a couple years ago before I had switched over to Kali completely. And it didn't matter what he did, he could not get OpenVAS installed and configured correctly. Even when he completely trashed his VM and brought it back up and then reinstalled everything, had it all configured, went through the OpenVAS installation again, and then it still failed. It's like he had some sort of OpenVAS curse that would not allow him to proceed. And so it's not like anybody decided to pick out Michaela or this other student and say, well, you're the one that's going to suffer this semester. But it seems like there's always one thing where it's just, problems just keep happening and compound themselves for a variety of variables. So you did a good job troubleshooting through all of those and trying to find as many workarounds as possible to get what you needed to out of the lab. So you definitely get the most suffered through the most award.
Thank you. Made me a better person, honestly. So less lazy now for sure. Don't run to my dad and say, "Dad, this is broken," instantly. So
well, I had to go through my own set of suffering this weekend, completely unrelated to class. But Saturday, I had a clogged kitchen sink drain that completely out of the blue, did not expect it. And, I had to first, I just tried, typical Drano liquid plumber type stuff, didn't work. Went to the hardware store, got a sink plunger, went through that whole process for half an hour, still stuck. I'm like, okay, well, let me get underneath the sink and let me unscrew some pipes and let me clean out the drains right underneath the sink. And I cleaned out a bunch of gunk. Like, okay, let's put everything back together. Let's see how things work now. And after running the water for about a minute, it still was starting to fill up and clog. I'm like, okay, well, I do not have a drain snake, and I really don't want to have to wait until Monday when a plumber can come out here and charge me hundreds of dollars to do this. So I went back to the hardware store, bought a drain snake, came back, ran that through 25 feet worth, and finally got it unclogged. But it was the same type of thing where I didn't want to just pick up the phone and say, hey, plumber, come out and fix this. I'm pretty sure I can troubleshoot this and fix it on my own. And a little research, little common sense, a little perseverance, and a lot of sweat got the job done. But I think it's completely relatable to some of the computer issues we run into, whether it's getting a lab to work or a certain tool to work the way you want to, or a script. Is it takes some perseverance. There's a solution, you just haven't found it yet. What else? Anything else?
Speaking of scripting, I also really like doing that.
Do you like the shell or the Perl more?
I think I liked the shell more.
And I would probably say the same. One, it's probably just what I used more whenever whenever I was working in Linux and Unix servers all the time. But two, the bulk of the shell commands that you're going to build into a script, pardon me, you can test portions of it in a command line window. So the nice part is I always felt like I could create a safe little playground, run some things one line at a time to see if it worked the way I wanted to, and then I could build it into a script and automate it. And I think just a lot of the syntax seemed at least pretty straightforward to me. But cool. That's cool to hear. This is definitely one of the smallest classes I've ever taught, with just 6 in the class. I was glad I was still able to offer it with such a small enrollment. It made for a very close experience in terms of, when you show up, there can't be a lot of silence because there aren't enough people to back you up. I certainly enjoyed the time that we had when we were still on campus, and being able to spend about half the class, going through new material, and the other half of the class where everyone else was working and troubleshooting and starting to learn and go through labs and stuff. And I really enjoyed that setup, and I hope it works for you guys too. The part that I wish I would have been able to do was the fun stuff in the back half of the class, some more a more hands-on experience with the Wi-Fi, and a more hands-on experience with the Internet of Things type of devices that hopefully we would have been able to play around with a little bit more and experiment with. And so not being able to do that, and probably some Raspberry Pi things we probably could have shored up to make some people's lives a little easier, are a couple things I wish we would have been able to do in this class that we weren't able to get to because of heading home. So at some point, if the next time the class is offered, I'll reach out to everyone, and when we get to the fun stuff, and if you're available, I'll either record it or invite you in or something, so you can still maybe get a piece of that. I know it's a small sample size and everything else, but I really would, especially if you're not comfortable sharing here online, I am interested in your feedback through the course evaluations online. So definitely interested on what you thought worked best for the course. Things you would have liked to have seen that you didn't get to see in the course. But then also, I just like your feedback on how the online experience went. Again, the things that went well and the things that could have been done better. I think at some point, I will probably end up doing more online courses. I don't think that's not necessarily by force in the fall from Milliken's choice, but I just think going forward, I can see myself offering more online courses in summers and that type of thing. And so I want to try to make the experience as best as possible for students. So your feedback on that would be really helpful. If you could take time and do that, I'd appreciate it. So with all that being said, I'll transition here a little bit and see what questions you have on the final case. So it's due next Wednesday at the end of the day, 11:59 p.m. Otherwise, the only other thing you have left to do is the encryption lab that's today. So I guess questions on either one of those are game for this afternoon.
For the encryption lab, has anyone not swapped keys for exercise 2? That's the only thing I have left to do.
If you want to, if no one else here on the call is willing to do that with you, you could simply do it yourself and use 2 different computers in your home, or use your main computer and then use a virtual machine on the inside.
Okay.
So
yeah, I just send it to my mom's laptop and then send it back from her laptop. Or she did the thing on her. I mean, I did it, but I pretended to be her. She watched behind me amazed the entire time, so she kind of did it in a way.
You had an observer.
Okay, yeah, that will work.
Okay. Is that okay, Lucas?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
I had one question about the case.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have it pulled up?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so for the case questions on like section 2,
Yes.
right above where those start, it has the 2 bullet points. Excuse me. It has the 2 bullet points that say like maintain email services locally and replace. And there's a question kind of in that paragraph before, or not really a question, but it just says like together with the dean, you are asked to recommend a choice for email service among the following options.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it lists those. And I know I guess you kind of talk about it in these like 2.1, 2.2, and 3 and stuff. I just didn't know if we were supposed to answer that, like address that question separately outside of the like 2.1 through 2.4. Because like it's saying, because it gives you the 2 options to maintain email services locally or replace the entire email infrastructure. So I didn't know if we were supposed to, I guess, answer that outside of the other questions.
Yeah. So, yes, you should be answering that either outside of those other questions, or you can also build it into 2.4, because kind of business continuity and disaster recovery are built into the 2.4 question.
Okay.
So you could build it into either one, or you could answer it separately.
Okay. Cool.
I should probably change that to a 2 point something else so it's a little more clear. I'll do that in the future. Other questions on the final case or the encryption lab?
You just want them all in a Word document, right? I think
Yep.
it says that.
Just
But
just one Word document. Yep.
okay. Do you want us to put the question and the answer, or just the answer, or does it matter?
They definitely need to be numbered at the very least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you copy and paste the whole question in there, that's cool too. But at the very least, I need them numbered.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want you to write like a giant paper and then I got to sift through and find the answers to each of the bullet points.
I also noticed that it said to turn it in on Turnitin.
Yeah, and I used Turnitin one other time when I did this case, but that's not not in play for this one. So you can just turn it in the middle.
Okay.
Yep. Other questions? If you do come up with other questions, by all means, I'm clearly available by email and can answer them that way, or can set up a one-on-one Zoom or give me a phone call or something like that. And I'm happy to help you if you run into something between now and next Wednesday. I will, as we kind of wrap things up, I wanted to just kind of ask a question, and I know Alex and Michaela are graduating, but if Seth or Maddie or Lucas, if you have other questions about registration or courses in the fall, or other Millikan related things that are on your mind that that I may or may not know the answer to, but I'm more than welcome to field those this afternoon while we're online here.
I think I'm all good for right now. I'm just going to try and get in contact with Travis about the internship.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I should be all good.
This is like kind of like more in the future, but I need one more class to finish my IS certificate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I didn't register for one for the fall because I'm at 17 credits already.
Okay.
Do you know which one it's going to be in the spring?
Yes, it'll be IT security and risk management.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that one will be on the books. So there will be an offering for you to be able to finish out the cert.
All right. That's all I have, I think.
I can tell you, and I don't know if your schedule is locked in stone for the fall or not. I can tell you that if you take an ethical hacking, the system admin course is probably a more of a more of a different look at security, and especially the way with I'm structuring it with cloud computing in the fall. The spring class IT security and risk management, it's by no means identical to ethical hacking, but there is some more overlap and similarities between the two courses. I just wanted to disclose that.
Okay.
So if you feel like you want to mix things up and rearrange some things and push something off to the spring, you certainly could. Entirely up to you.
Okay.
Do we need to turn our Raspberry Pis in somehow?
Yeah, I need to figure out how to do that.
I will be on campus next Wednesday. So can I drop it off somewhere?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're going to be on campus, let's see, all the other buildings are locked though, aren't they?
I don't know. I'm meeting Becky, so I'll be able
Oh.
to get into Tabor.
Okay. If you just leave it with Becky, that'd be perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me find out when you said you're meeting with her when?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday? Okay.
Oh.
I'm going to see when else she's going to be available on campus. And, I know Seth and Lucas and Ryan are in town. Alex and Maddie will have to figure something out. I don't know when you're planning on coming back to Decatur, Alex.
I mean, I know I'm coming back this Saturday to move out of my apartment, but I don't know how helpful that is.
If
Okay.
you give me your Raspberry Pi on Saturday, Alex, if you bring it with you, I can turn it in when I drop mine off if you want.
That'll work.
Yeah, that's fine. And then Maddie, I don't know if you had plans to make it back to Decatur anytime soon or not.
Well, my mom works in Decatur, so if all else fails, I can send it with her.
Yeah, and I tell you what I can do also, if so we're not all dependent upon Becky, is let me email public safety and see if they just be willing to receive it at their office, and then I can come pick them up there. That way you're not having to, specifically rendezvous with somebody.
Do you know, is there people working in like the public safety desk on Saturdays?
Yeah, there's somebody at public safety 24/7.
Okay, good, because I have to drop off my MUPC key too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Good reminder for you and Michaela and Ben and Paige. But yeah, there should be somebody there 24/7. So if you're dropping that key off, I'll send a note and see if we can just let them know to expect to receive that kind of stuff from, whether it's Maddie or Alex or anybody else in town for that matter, and I can go pick them up from there. So I'll send a note back out and verify that that's all right. But what else? I just have to disclose that this is the strangest way I've ever had to end a semester. Usually all of you have had class with me before. I like to I like to end class a little bit different. And so this is weird for me to do it online, especially when I've got seniors in the room. But do know that you are more than welcome to contact me over the summer or anytime for that matter if you need assistance in job search, interested in something, just want to check in, you're more than welcome to reach out whenever. I'm typically always around. So stay in contact more than anything. That's really kind of my parting note. So, but definitely a big congratulations to the graduates in the room, and that's Alex and Michaela. I know it's not without all the fanfare you expected, and what seems like a really good idea at the time to go to the Civic Center and get all dressed up in Hogwarts uniforms. But it's 2.5 hours of sitting you don't have to put up with. So that part's kind of nice, at least. But you do miss all the getting together and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sorry that didn't happen, but hope you'll be here in December, maybe to walk across stage anyway.
Yes, that is my plan. Thank you, RJ.
Good deal. I'm missing just not physically smiling at all of you and shaking a hand or giving a hug if you're comfortable, and wishing you well. So I'm doing that virtually the best I can. Lucas, do you have something?
Yeah, one last question about the intern thing.
Yeah,
For
sure.
the course, it asked for the course number.
Mhm.
What is that course number? I tried looking on the planning, like the registration site for it, but it didn't turn anything up.
Yeah, so it's AC 471.
471? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Cool. Anything else, folks? You know where to find me if something comes up. It's been fun, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks, RJ.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon. Take care, all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.